Are we going to get the stream back? Yep. So we hit 3 megabyte download upload just a minute ago while we but we've got the stream back again. Thank you, Twitch. If this goes on again, if it happens again, I'll switch back to the London ingest and see what happens. See if I can get my preview window back. Flake of snow in London. Yeah, I've been down there. Well, I think I've mentioned it before. Theme Hospital. I mean, this Christmas just passed, I was down in London, and there were shops closing, and the the underground was on having sort of special things to get people out of London because because of the heavy snowfall. And my wife and I are and there's sort of newspaper headlines on the newspaper boards, London experiencing exceptional snowfall, and my wife and I are going, what are they on about? Where's this snow? And we're in central London. Where's it? Well, there's a bit on the pavement. It's sort of just about laying, not even turning white just yet, and that's about as bad as it got. And we were totally I mean, it's kind of a joke to us, but it was just so surprising to actually be down there when that was going on. And we are literally, and they were talking about having to send the gritters out, and we were literally we could almost not see the snow. And it wasn't slippery or anything like that. It wasn't even particularly cold, to be honest. And yet, of course, sort of up where we're not. I'm trying not to be biased about it, but they do send the gritters out up here when it's not even snowed, but we sort of get heavy frost. Minus 3 or 4 degree frost. They'll send the gritters out, but you kind of don't get to go home early from work or anything unless it's kind of like been snowing all day and it's about an inch thick. But you've got a TeamSpeak. It might be an interesting experiment to try one day. Theme Hospital, just to see how it goes. At least just as an experiment. I don't actually have TeamSpeak installed, so can't do that. But it might be an interesting thing just to try that sort of experiment with at least sort of a few regular people. Probably not something that is going to work too well. Actually, I was thinking just then, I watch Mr. Boombati when he does chainmail stuff, and he quite often has, when he's doing that, he quite often is talking to somebody else on some form of communications media, so you're having the conversation going on, and that kind of adds a different dynamic to the stream. Okay, well, this wood around here, I've got this thing turned up, but no, pen's taking current. I'm just not the wood's just not turning brown quite as fast as it was over there. Of course, I'm sure Graya there is going, 2 or 3 inches of snow. Well, they're talking about a light dusting. course, it could be in the south of Canada and going 2 or 3 inches of snow. That thick! And that's because my knowledge of geography is terrible. I have no idea what is typical snowfall for Canada. Or in the different regions of Canada. I know Canada is sort of more top to bottom than the UK is, so I am sure there's huge variations. Talking of snowfall, one of the series that I enjoyed watching was about the like the motorway service crews on the M62, which in the UK is the highest. Well, the M62, which goes basically coast to coast across the country. It crosses the Pennines, and it's at that point where it crosses the Pennines, it's the highest motorway in the UK. And it is in the middle of it's not mountainous terrain, it's extremely hilly terrain, wild sort of moorland around there, extremely windy, and get some really extremes of wind. And whilst the motorway, the old passes, or the old roads that used to go, or still do go over the Pennines around that area, they quite often get completely blocked off with snow. Even snowplows don't get through. I mean, they don't use snow blowers, but snow plows. And that was a fascinating program to sort of show just what they do to keep a motorway open in the UK when it's snowing, because the weather up there can change in I won't say minutes, but it can change. Over the course of an hour, it can go from bright sunshine to an inch of snow. And here I am talking and forgetting to do stuff. That tree stands out more here than it does on the stream, by the way, just in case. Okay, am I going to get a problem because my chat has now disconnected? Good job I'm not actually typing. No drop frames, uploading at 1600 kilobits, 1.6 megabits, 30 frames, dead solid. Cheap outfit, this Twitch, isn't it? I do keep wondering whether they ought to try sort of dual casting to one of the others or something like that, just to try them out. But Twitch, of course, has got a nice audience, and there's you guys here, which aren't elsewhere. Oh, come on, Payne. Twitch is playing up. I don't want you and the pen and the wood to be doing the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I could actually use a proper IRC. It's just IRC client, isn't it? Most of the time, it's okay though. Right. Occasionally, what it'll do is when it disconnects the video, it'll disconnect the chat as well. So it's a generalized failure. And I'm almost kind of guessing it would probably disconnect an IRC client as well, because it's very much like it's a server reset. Yeah, no, I agree. mind you, if it is of course, if you're on a different, as you may well connect to a different server, if you're using an IRC client than you would do with Twitch chat, then of course it quite likely does survive something like a server reset. Yeah. It's so far it's not bothered me enough to want to actually go out and do something about it, like get install Chatty or something like that. I might do it, but to give me sort of an alternative channel, because if I do get a full disconnect, then it's kind of hard to say, I can't even put in chat, hey, I am still here, and Twitch is not letting me connect to anything. So I may well do that. And occasionally it's nice to see who's joining and or who's actually in chat, or not in chat, who's actually on the stream, even if they're not actively talking. And I have no intention of calling out anybody, by the way, that's doing that, even if I was using an IRC client, because I know the IRC clients will let you see who's connected. Because I kind of hate it when people do that to me. I have a tendency when people do that to me to go, I didn't want to talk, so if you're going to try and make me, I'm going to go somewhere else. But no, that's called redundancy, Theme Hospital. You must really think that Twitch conversations are extremely vital to you, to offer triple redundancy. Alright, I'll give this pen a little bit more heat. This area of wood is just a little bit reluctant, shall we say. This should go quite quickly, but it's not. Yeah, that is true. I mean, that is something that you don't actually know with generally know with Twitch when the chat has disconnected, unless you actually try and type something, and then it gives you. Better Twitch TV, I think, keeps checking, so at least it does give you some warning, but. I may do so. Maybe see this weekend if I remember. Yeah, that's kind of what I do. Well, I do that often with 2 or 3 streams. Is I'll listen to them while I'm doing something else, generally, and I'll listen to one. But I may have 2 or 3 on, which I'll just keep glancing at, because whatever they're doing is interesting. If it's people who are they're not got music playing and they're not completely frenetic, then I sometimes will put 2 or 3 on voice, because you can tell them apart. But if they sort of as some streamers are, the sort of, shall we say, extremely enthusiastic and somewhat audio challenged, then they either get muted or they're the only person that's on. Right, let's see if I can get this area. Mind you, I suppose I can. I'll see if I can get this area a bit darker. It's going to work better that way. I can let it fade towards this side because, of course, this is the side with the sun. So, but. Let's just do some more. When I started this stream, which is at a time. Okay. You go ahead, Theme Hospital. I started this stream, which is an hour and a half ago now. Up here in Yorkshire, I was looking out my window and thinking, it might rain. We've now got an extremely blue sky, no clouds, and there's even a sunset. An hour and a half ago there was clouds, dark clouds, no blue sky, and definitely no sunset. Doesn't half change sometimes up here. And that shortle will be Matt Pendleton. Will have just started up his stream. This is kind of, I do thinking about it, I do get frustrated a little bit with pyrography like this, where it's just not heating up. Excuse me a minute, guys. Computer support again. Don't worry about that, guys. Yeah, I wasn't a bad guess, was it? Theme Hospital, you say, Matt Pendleton. the Better Twitch TV is supposed to pop up a little thing in the side of my window. It says when these people that I'm following it goes live. It's not done it, but the chortle that I heard was the iPad, and that is quite good at doing it. And being it was 9:30, it was unlikely to be anybody else.
Sorry, Mark.
Just a moment again, guys.
I'm sorry, I'm a bloody nuisance.
Yeah, not surprising. Theme Hospital. I kind of do. I'd kind of watch him whilst I was streaming if I could. Well, I occasionally do that because I do that with AD Fall Guy sometimes when he's when I've been watching him on a Wednesday. If I start streaming, sometimes I'll just leave it going in one of the corners and just keep an eye on it. But I kind of like to sit back a little bit and watch Matt. So I tend not to do that whilst I'm streaming. I'm waiting for him to publish his article on how he's done his setup with all the gauges. His chat's died though. He was playing Flight Simulator the other night with on a multiplayer. So we had a few people not in chat, but so he must have had a TeamSpeak or something up as well, and it was a bit of a confused time. Yeah, there's a few dual streaming programs and things. I've got 3 monitors here, so I don't particularly have a problem with that. I tend to pop the chats out and then make the streams full screen, and then just sit the chat window over the top of the stream. I kind of want to nick his gauge idea for Euro Truck, as well as for the train simulator. Not sure I could particularly stretch to using the instruments he's got, but things like the light box that he uses for the panel in the middle with just the things that light up. they're easy enough to make, and making real gauges isn't too hard. It's just a servo or a stepper motor, one or the other, and the interfacing's the interesting bit. Yeah, I think that's one of the ones I've come across. Yeah, sort of a bit like that. Depends on what I'm doing. The layout of my screens is a little bit. Mine's kind of an L-shaped layout. So there's the one that I've got in front of me here is a 22 inch. I've got something like, I think it's a 26 inch, which is the main monitor, and there's another 22 inch behind it, which sort of sits above it in terms of the window itself. Trouble I find is if I put a few streams on like that whilst I go do something else at the same time, I end up watching them anyway, and don't end up doing whatever it is else I was trying to do. This area of the wood must be just drier than somewhere else, because it's real. Well, it feels like it's resisting changing colour. I mean, that's anthropomorphism. It's doing nothing of the sort. It's just kind of my slight impatience with it that sort of makes it feel like that. But it does seem to be taking its time to change colour, and I've got to be really careful not to create blobs, even if I slow down. So what's 323 inch HPs? Yeah, I've got the Samsungs, the two main ones, sorry, the two side ones are Samsungs. I've got three, but I replaced one with a Wacom Cintiq, so I had to kind of rearrange the desk a little bit. I might, one of these days I might build another machine for the to run the Cintiq on. Then I can run three similar monitors, and things like Eurotruck, then I can put on three monitors, so you get like a wraparound. I think you do the same with Train Simulator as well. Yeah, I like the Samsungs, ThinkMasters. Oh, there must be 22 inches, T22s, 220s. I had them a while, but they calibrate quite nicely as well. So what's Matt driving tonight? To anybody who's watching that may be wondering, Matt Pendleton is streaming in the Train Simulator 2015 section, and he plays different scenarios from Steam Workshop. Quite an interesting streamer. He's got an interesting setup for him to be able to stream using sort of physical controls more than driving using the keyboard. But he's usually he's almost always an entertaining streamer. He's worth checking out. Kiberton. Kiberton is again, well, if thinking about the only Kiberton I know is I generally associate with Squirrel. Steve Kiberton. Don't know if he's also associated with Matt. It kind of wouldn't surprise me, given that Matt is part of the Squirrel Nuthouse group. Okay. I don't think I've ever specifically spoken to him, but there again, as I say, I've only ever come across him on Squirrel's chat, and talking to anybody on Squirrel's chat sometimes is somewhat of a challenge. Especially when they start sort of playing games with him. Not a bad chat to be in, though. It's quite a friendly chat, which is nice. There are some that I wouldn't, I would not want to say anything in. Actually, there's a few chats where I even close the chat window. Okay, yeah, of course. There's the Squirrel runs a TeamSpeak, yeah. And of course, I've heard him a few times, or quite a few times, because when he's when they're doing something like the flight simulator stuff, and he's there with Squirrel, and they're chatting on stream. Well, obviously got a line there. I don't want to get sort of the kind of, yeah. I'm not making a lot of sense. I've got a line across there I kind of want to lose, and this looks like a bit of an abrupt line even for a sunset, so obviously I've got to do a bit of work around there. Unfortunately can't sub to everybody or even lots of people Theme Hospital. It's there's only so much money to go around. I do what I can in terms of watching them and watching the adverts and things, but it's not necessarily that easy to just subscribe to people.